Hello, welcome to the posing room and welcome to your new IFBB/NPC bodybuilding division, the fit model division. I am super excited about this and I want to give a full kind of deep dive um, into this. I am Leonie West. I am an IFBB Bikini Pro. I am also 42, so I am a master's as well now. I am a posing coach and a posing analyst, and I also do a little bit of prep coaching. I'm not a huge prep coach. I don't want to be a huge prep coach, but I have been doing some bikini prep coaching for a good sort of 5, 6 years now. But my kind of my passion, my drive, and my love really comes from the posing element. I have also been competing for a good 7, nearly 8 years now, I think. I started late 2016. I started in the NPC in 2017, um, which was just before it came to Europe. I started in America. It came to Europe, I think, 2018. So I have really been through this kind of evolution of bikini, and an evolution it has been. When I started, it was a very sort of soft, petite, a lot less muscular. You could do really well as a natural competitor back in my day. Obviously, the criteria um, has evolved massively in bikini. It's now a very muscular, dense, conditioned look. I love it, but it's not accessible for all now, especially if you want to stay natural, which I would always advise to really take your time with that stuff. Stay as natural as possible, definitely. So I have huge hopes for this. Super excited. Like I said, I have also like this very broad view of it, having come through the evolution of bikini myself. I can see that it's going to be a very tough division, despite what some of the naysayers on Instagram are saying. It's not going to be as easy as everyone says, but it's going to be very rewarding. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my take on why this is going to be a tough category, um, the benefits, the pitfalls, and then we'll go into a deep dive on the kind of the criteria, the look that they're going for, the posing, what it all means. There has been some kind of standards put out there, some criteria put out there, but this will evolve, and already there's a lot of questions, I think, around it, including the suits. So let's go into it. So the division was announced earlier on in the week, last week, by Tyler Mannion, who is the vice president of the NPC/IFBB. And he is doing like incredible work for the bodybuilding industry. If you are new to this, go follow him. Watch out for the videos he does on all of the divisions at the bigger shows, the pro shows. He's always talking through why a decision was made, why did that person become first, second, third, fourth, fifth kind of thing. Um, and this is a really new thing that he's been doing. He's only been doing these videos for a good sort of year. But they have been invaluable, especially for bikini, which has been such a subjective category for a really long time, really hard to understand what it is the judges are looking for. And we're really starting to work that out, and it's starting to develop and evolve into this really high level look, which is awesome. But it's left a lot of newer people behind. It's not entry level anymore. When I started, it was soft, it was petite, and now it's someone else. So this really is not even a new division, I would say. It is just putting the old bikini standards back in the game. It's making sure that, the girls who don't want to go down that ped route, don't want to get too big, um, don't want to put their body under the extreme pressure that we have to for bikini. And again, there are a lot of naysayers about this, and I just don't understand it. Why don't we want women to have the opportunity to stay feminine, safe, and healthy in this sport? It is supposed to be about fitness as well as muscle, you know? Um, so it's just putting that entry level back in with a new division called Fit Model. But obviously we have to make sure it doesn't evolve back into bikini. So it does have different standards, different criteria, different posing, different suit requirements. And again, I'm all for that because we really, really, really must protect this new division and make sure it doesn't grow just into another big muscular conditioned division like all the others did. So, or maybe like 80% of the people on Instagram have been going nuts for this. I think most people feel super, super positive. Most people see, like I said, it's good for the girls. It's also good for the industry. More eyes on bodybuilding. Why not? It's buzzy. I literally can't wait for this. But there are a few naysayers. There have been some real negative comments, and this is not new. Like I said, when I started out, bikini was a lot smaller, and I, I wouldn't say it was an awful time, but it was a little bit tougher back then for us, I think mentally. I do remember getting a bit of trolling back in the day when I started. You know, the bikini was a bit of a joke. It's not really bodybuilding, you know. The girls are so small, they don't really train. Um, this is a picture of me in my first ever NPC show. I think I'd been training for about 18 months at this point. Um, and I trained hard. I trained really, really hard. You can see I'm quite small. I'm a lot smaller than the girls are, now. I was fairly conditioned. I was actually a little bit too over conditioned for what the standard was back then. You were supposed to be a lot softer. I just have one of those kind of like conditioned physiques. I just can't help looking conditioned. Um, but I was quite petite. I was natural. I was at natural for a good 3, 4 years after this as well. But I trained hard. I actually wanted to be a power lifter as well at the time. So I was like on top of bodybuilding, doing like the big lifts. I weighed about 46 kg here. I was deadlifting 115 kg. Probably wasn't going to win any world titles, but that was, I trained hard, I trained heavy. Um, but progress was slow. And I think a lot of these, especially guys who are commenting about this division, just don't really understand that it is hard to build muscle for women naturally. It does take a long time. And my ethos here is if you're in the gym doing bodybuilding stuff, working hard and building some muscle, you are a bodybuilder. It doesn't matter what stage of the journey you're on at the moment, you're a bodybuilder. And if you want to take part in this stuff, as long as you are taking it seriously, like the rest of the divisions, why have we got issue with it? You know? So I feel like it is going to be a tough division in the beginning for that reason. I think, some of these girls are going to get a little bit of stick. And I'm not saying this to put anyone off. I'm saying this to say, I feel you girls. I've been there, but the other side of it now. Um, bikini was a lot smaller and softer. We also had men's physique got brought in, I think, around the same time. They got a lot of stick as well. They were called the bikini boys. The big boys really picked on these guys and kind of made their lives hell. Um, I watched a documentary a few months ago, which I think is about 10 years old. It had Dorian Yates in it, who is a big deal, a big guy. And he was kind of slating bikini and men's physique at the time, saying it wasn't to be taken seriously. Fast forward 10 years, look where those divisions are now. They're the most popular divisions in bodybuilding. Bikini, I would definitely say, is drawing so many eyes to it. The girls and guys both train crazy hard, and people like Dorian Yates are now sponsoring bikini girls and these guys through their nutrition brands. So, what once was a little bit of a joke is now serious bodybuilding with some serious money and serious kind of kudos behind it. So I just wanted to put that out there, put you girls at rest if you're sort of feeling a bit like, oh, there's a bit of negativity. That will change. Don't worry. Do not worry. Along with, people saying, it's not really bodybuilding, they're saying it's too easy. This is not going to be an easy division. Absolutely not. I see this actually being a very, very tough lifestyle for these girls. Um, the whole premise of this is yes, not as conditioned as bikini or any other division, not as much muscle. Well, what does that mean? Like, less muscle means less food, right? We all remember, I think most of us remember, who have been in this sport for quite a long time and came into it as a smaller athlete. You know, you're on a lot less food back then, yeah? Your preps, you know, we were getting really, really low in our calories to be able to lose the body weight because we didn't have the muscle to sustain, more calories. Those were darker days back then. When you get a bit bigger, into those higher levels of bikini, you've got all that more muscle, you are on less food. Every prep hurts, but I do find my preps are a lot easier the older I am, the more food that I get. As a a bikini athlete, obviously we get very, very conditioned. So yeah, it's harder from that standpoint than this division will be. But again, in these sort of bigger bodybuilding categories, you get conditioned, you get closer to show, and then this is kind of like switch point in your body where it starts to get really efficient and you need to fill out and you get quite insulin, sensitive. And your food starts to go up, right? And I know bikini girls who eat, between shows on season, 3,000, some of them 4,000 calories a day. They're still suffering. They're still suffering, but they're getting to eat a lot of food um, through that time. These girls, they're not going to experience that. Like I said, less muscle to sustain. They're also not getting as conditioned. Their bodies are not really going to get into that sort of efficient fat burning state where you have to like chuck food at them to sustain them. It's not going to be like that for them. This is going to be, through prep and through that on season, pretty low calories, I would say. Uh, It's going to suck a bit. It's going to be fun. Again, not trying to put you off, but it's not going to be easy. And the same going into off season, us girls in bikini, other divisions, we've got to build a lot of muscle in a lot of cases for the next season, which means we get to eat quite a lot during off season. And again, these girls, there will be probably at the lower end feedback where you need a little bit more muscle, probably in the glutes. Um, so that they will be building in off season, but their calories are not going to be super high because they're going to have a limit on how much muscle they can build. So it is going to be tough. It's not it's it's going to be tough for completely different reasons. Um, and obviously like this is being seen as sort of an entry level, and obviously the girls can go, all right, I want to go on to bikini after this, and you know, they can evolve into a bikini and get into that higher state where they're eating more and building muscle and things are a little bit more like intense in that way. Um, but there will be a lot of girls who go, no, this is my category. I'm taking this serious. I want to be the most elite fit model IFBB pro there is, and they're going to stay in it. And like I said, they're going to have to live this lifestyle. And yeah, it's going to be tough for different reasons. Another reason why it's going to be tough is, I mean, it's in the name, right? It's the fit model division. And I know there will be a lot of emphasis on beauty and aesthetics in this. There already is in bikini. Like bikini, you get judged on your skin tone. Um, you are getting judged on your beauty and your look. I think there is a little bit more sort of wiggle room in it, and sometimes in bikini and definitely in the other categories that, your body wins at the end of the day. But I think this is going to be so much more about that whole beauty package because there is less muscle to judge. Um, it's going to be really competitive at that level. And yeah, like really think about if you're going into this, can you sustain that? There's going to be a lot of upkeep of your body. This is about looking aesthetically pleasing, looking healthy, looking fit. So it's going to be tough in that way. I already struggle personally in bikini. Like I said, I'm 42. I think I'm doing okay. Not too bad. But I'm trying to stay quite natural. Yeah. I got a few wrinkles, my natural teeth. Um, I don't want to go down that route where I'm like really, really messing with my face and stuff. But I also, on a day-to-day basis, in off season, I look in the mirror and I'm like, I'm doing okay. When it comes to on season, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be stood up there in front of so many people wearing virtually nothing against girls half my age, beautiful, beautiful skin. Am I enough? And it really, like, it gets to me. I do struggle with that whole mentality of it. So it's going to be tough from that angle. Another reason why it's going to be tough is this is a new division. Um, and like I said, some structure, some standards have been put in place, but it's brand new. We don't know where it's going to go in the long term. We don't know where it's going to go next year when it starts. And it will evolve even just in that first year, like every other category and division has. And it's going to be a bumpy ride, You're going to go into those first few shows not having a clue what the judges are looking for. We're probably going to turn up to some shows and do really well and turn up to the next shows and not do so well. And it's going to be a case of because other people turned up and they look better, but we don't quite know what was better about them. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be a rough ride for that first year. It's going to be hard for the athletes trying to work out what it is that they're supposed to be presenting. It's going to be hard for the posing coaches trying to understand, what that new kind of style of posing is. We know what the poses are, but there are some nuances already to it that I can see. It's going to be hard for the coaches trying to bring that look. It's also going to be really hard for the judges. They're used to judging bikini girls, all these other divisions, and now they've got something new to look at, and it's not fully formed yet. So it's going to be a wild ride in that way. So, like I said, it's not going to be easy. However, let's look at the positives and like why I am so, so excited about this. So, so excited. Number one, it is a new category, a new division. If you're joining it this year in its first year, you get to be a pioneer of this, girls. You get to be an OG. You get to be Ashley Kay of the Fit Model division. No one can ever take that away from you if you're joining this in its early stages. 10 years down the line, when people are looking at the evolution of the fit model category, just like they look at the evolution of the bikini category, you're going to be part of that cohort that they look back at and go, this is where it started. How exciting is that? Like, I just honestly, I wish I could do it, but I'm a little bit too muscular. Yeah, you get to be an OG. The possibility of like becoming one of the first fit model IFB pros. I think this is absolutely insane. I'm so, so excited for it. Another reason why I think this is going to be huge is this is going to get so much money thrown at it. This is such a marketable look. Just like I said, people in the gym, if you show them a picture of, say, an open bodybuilder and a men's physique, most of them aspire more to be the men's physique, and the same with bikini. But even then, there will be a lot of people who think, "Oh, that looks great," but it's a bit too big for me. but you walk into any commercial gym and show them probably this fit model division, the women are going to be, that's what I want to look like. This is going to be so marketable. When you look at the money that is already in the industry when it comes to sponsorships, um, contracts, that kind of stuff. Yep, at the highest levels, definitely like the big open bodybuilders, the every other division, people who are sort of getting to the Olympia, really making a name for themselves. There is sponsorship there. But on the whole, in the industry, the sponsorship is going to the gym sharkers these days. It's going to the fitfluencers, you know, it's going to those healthy bodybuilding lifestyle kind of influencers. And this division is going to fit into there. I can see these girls becoming the next influencers, the next cash cows. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be very, very, very beneficial for them. So, although I've said it's going to be a tough category for many reasons, I think the reward for this, especially, you know, those who get in early or those who really, really take this serious and go, I want to be a fit model IFBB Pro and I want to stay a fit model IFBB Pro. Yeah, you're going to do well out of this. Um, so super, super excited. Anyway, I've talked a lot about these things, but I wanted to put a different perspective to it. Let's dive in. What does it all mean? Okay, so let's look at the NPC and IFBB Pro League criteria for judging fit model competitors. So this is on the NPC website. This is kind of like the rules. But these are very subjective. I haven't looked at the bikini ones in a long time, but even like 2, 3 years ago, when I last looked on the NPC website of what the official rules are for bikini, when you look at those rules and standards on the website and then look at the girls on stage and who is being rewarded, uh, there's a big gap. It's not quite the same, it's quite subjective, and maybe they just hadn't updated it for a long time. Um, but I just want to put it out there that this criteria that's come out, one, it's subjective because it's very new. We still don't know where it's going. But two, this is just like their basic criteria. So expect change, expect over time this to be up there and it perhaps not represent what is being rewarded on stage. But I really, really hope that it stays true to it in as much as this always looks very separate from bikini. Criteria for judging fit model physiques: condition, symmetry and balance, presentation, posing, and muscularity. Fit model competitors should display a foundation of muscle which gives shape to the female body. However, the amount of muscle should be less than seen in bikini. This means the amount of muscle in the legs, glutes, arms, and delts should be less than currently seen in the NPC and IFBB Pro League division. Full glutes with no visible tie-in area. However, the glutes should be firm when doing the model walk. I want to come back to this model walk to the back of the stage or in transitions whilst posing. Small amount of roundness to the delts, but no cap delts. A core that is in shape, but not too conditioned or lean. Overall conditioning that is less than the NPC and IFBB Pro League division, but would be seen on a mainstream fitness magazine cover. Hair, tanner, makeup, and suit that should all work together and enhance their presentation. Okay. So they have said that Ashley Kaltzwaza, I hope that's how you say it, Ashley K, as we all know and love her, is currently the standard. The standard being her look at the 2015 Olympia bikini, her winning look. Let's dive into that. So this picture is a little bit blurry because it's quite old now. But we can see she has got muscle on her shoulders. You can tell that she trains shoulders, but there is no capped out here. It's not too much muscle. It's still quite flat. You can see a little bit of definition, like the tiniest bit of separation, but it's not really what we would call separation in the sort of bikini category. So we want to obviously see that you train, but it's nowhere near the muscularity of bikini. They're saying that they don't want to see an etched core. This is where I say this is quite subjective. Ashley Kay herself, genetically, she has quite an etched core. She's one of these people that, when she's lean, you can see a six pack, you can see an etched core. Here, she's probably a lot less lean than she is now on the Olympia stages. And you can see there that she's got a visible six pack. I personally would say that this is probably, although they've given this as the standard, it's probably a little bit too much around the core, a little bit too much condition from what they want to see. Again, if you're looking at fitness magazines, you're probably not seeing this kind of level of detail on a cover for a woman. So I'd say this is a little bit too much. But like I said, this is always where we run into trouble in these female categories is kind of genetics, because I am similar to Ashley Kay in as much as even at like 6, 8 weeks out, where I'm nowhere near conditioned enough for a stage, you start to see a six pack on me. But it's probably not what we want to see. Through the legs, good amount of muscle, not overdone. These are not nowhere near today's bikini standard of legs. Even though bikini, we try and keep the legs fairly small. She has got a little bit of condition there. You can see a tiny bit of like separation in that leg that she's got out, but it's not too much. Like I said, this is all new and subjective. I would say this is maybe a little bit too on the condition side for what they're looking for. We'll see. We'll see. This is just my take on it. Looking at the back pose, again, upper body, you can see that she has got some shoulders. There's actually quite a lot of sort of definition here in her upper body, in the shoulder area, rear delts. Again, I think that might be a tiny bit too much for what they're looking for now, even though this has been given as the standard. I'm not sure. We'll see. But again, if you were looking at a fitness magazine, um, I'm not sure that you would see this level of condition. Who knows? Condition in her hamstrings, you can't see any lines there. They're saying they don't want to see glute ham tie-in. I would see this as not a great glute ham tie-in, but it is still a bit of a glute ham tie-in. So again, this could well be a little bit too much for the new division. Who knows? Not sure. But this is more or less what has been given as the standard for now. We'll see where it goes. They're saying the overall condition and muscle is going to be less than the bikini division, but would be seen on a mainstream fitness magazine cover. Now, as you know, or may not know, Tyler Mannion is engaged to one of the most beautiful women in the world, Attila. She is a bikini pro, although she hasn't competed for quite some time now. I think she does some judging. She does do some judging. I think she judged me when I won my pro card. She does some judging. She doesn't compete. She has this swimwear brand that is doing very, very well. But she is like really embracing that kind of fitness model look right now. She is probably a little bit too big for the division right now. I am going to show you a video of her, show a video of her doing a fashion show for her swimwear brand. Okay, and like I said, she's a little bit too big here, I think. But I am thinking, I think, She's a bit of inspiration here for it. So I would say conditioning wise, this is probably what they're looking for. Shape wise, probably what they're looking for. Let's have a look.
Texas, give her a round of applause, please. Ladies and gentlemen.
She's so beautiful. That's crazy. So watching this again, she's definitely probably a bit too big in the legs here for this category. But looking at her arms, right, she doesn't have those big capped delts here. You can't see any definition in her delts, no separation. A little bit of separation in her quads, but I don't think that would be too much bother for this category, but looking at her glutes, no tie-in. When she walks away, they still look quite tight. I imagine this is the kind of look that is in Tyler's head right now when he's thinking of this division. Oh, she's so beautiful. It's crazy. Okay, we might come back to that. Okay, back to the criteria posing. The front pose is displayed here. One leg should be in front of the other with hips slightly tilted. Back pose is the same as the bikini back pose. Now, I've already had, as a posing coach, a few people message me asking, I'm seeing so many different variations of this front pose. Which one is it? On Instagram, lots of posing coaches coming out with it. I've seen 2 pictures of Ashley around this kind of era already, and both of them have completely, well, not completely, but very different front poses going on. The way she's leaning into the hip. And then I think a lot of posing coaches are showing this pose. If we look at Isa Piccini here, who won the Olympia in 2019. And this is the stallion pose. I don't know where that came from. Someone mentioned it on Instagram. I'm running with it. And this is actually a little bit different from Ashley Kay's pose. Like I said, bodybuilding bikini, the criteria has evolved quite slowly, but on quite a high trajectory. But the posing has evolved as well, and it was a very gradual, difference to the front pose, little tweaks, and then all of a sudden it completely flipped into the front pose that you see today. But it's been a sort of evolution. This is slightly later in that kind of evolution. I think Isa was sort of one of the last girls who was still kind of like hanging on to this front pose. But yeah, a lot of the posing coaches and people who are demoing that posing are showing this Isa's version. It sort of brings the core in a little bit more, makes it a little bit smaller. I don't think there's going to be any right or wrong with it, as long as you're not doing the current bikini front pose. They want to keep this completely different from bikini. I think, whether it's the really, really OG Ashley one or the sort of slightly more evolved Isa one, I don't think it's going to matter. But what will matter is how you hold yourself through that pose. We can see in Ashley's pose, she's not flaring her lats. She's not bringing her shoulders up. She's not trying to project that kind of X frame or hourglass frame. Whereas Isa's pose was very much about bringing those ratios out. So yeah, I don't think it matters. I just think you don't want to display too much with that pose. We're looking for more of a I'm at the beach, hanging out, Bay's over there looking at me, that kind of sort of relaxed pose that doesn't show off too much muscle. Um, Again, they've said that they're not looking for an hourglass shape. I mean, they've also said that they want balance between bottom to top. So to me, that does say hourglass. But if they're specifically saying not an hourglass shape, maybe going into that really, really tight stallion isopatini pose might be bringing your waist in a little bit too much, and they might not want to see those extreme ratios because they're trying to differentiate from bikini so much. I could be wrong. They might want this physique. Who knows? But I just want to keep everyone sort of open to the fact that this is new and everyone's looking at it in that kind of bikini lens or even the OG bikini lens. And like I said, I think this is going to go evolve into more of a model kind of, you know, beach body feel to it. That's my sense. Um, so let's be really, really open with the opportunities and the possibilities with the physique and the posing. Whilst we are looking at Issa Puccini, I thought it would be a good point to see like how far we have come with bikini and what that evolution has kind of looked like. So this is one of her front poses, the stallion pose from the 2019 Olympia where she won, I believe. I think that this is that picture. I've been trying to lock it down, but I'm sure it is. Um, when she won Miss Olympia, it was I think, a turning point for bikini in two ways. Obviously, bikini had been evolving to be more muscular, more conditioned, more extreme ratios and stuff. Um, but when she came out and did the Olympia and won it, A, all us bikini girls were like, oh my God, look at her lats, look at that X frame. We all wanted to be her, and we were all really excited because all of a sudden, I remember actually watching it because obviously it was the year of like lockdown and COVID. We were all messaging each other and stuff. I know it's the year before COVID. Uh, we were all messaging each other and we were all like, finally, we get to be bodybuilders. Like this is immense. On the flip side of that, there were a lot of people also who were very concerned when Issa won this because it was more muscular, it was more lats, it was more bodybuilding, more shape, and everyone was like, but bikini's not obtainable anymore. Like the whole point of bikini is it's supposed to be entry level, and this is not entry level. So it was a big thing, this one look, for that reason. Um, propelled propelled us in a new trajectory for bikini. Um, but also I think that was also a point after that when the NPC and the IFBB started to see all these girls then trying to build bodies like Issa's, that they went a bit like, oh, we're kind of messed up a bit here. And for a little while afterwards, they were really trying to like push us all back. We want you soft again. We want you smaller. And they were like really trying to reward those softer, um, smaller physiques for a little while after Issa's win. And, you could tell they were really pushing, going back in time. But we all wanted to be conditioned. We all wanted to be jacked, and we just didn't listen. And bikini is where it is today. Um, but if you have a look at her other front pose from that competition, um, which is, you know, the same as the front pose that we're all doing now, you can see, well, let's compare Ashley Kay in that kind of stallion-ish kind of OG pose, 2015 versus Issa 2019. So 4 years. Okay. 4 years difference. You can see like how it was starting to evolve, right? it'd come a long way. Then look at Issa's current bikini front pose at the Olympia versus, I think this picture is from, it's either from this year or late last year, but of Issa. But like, look at the difference. Look at the difference in condition, in size. Again, 2019, 21, 22, 23, 20, 20, it could be 4 or 5 years. So uh, almost the same time either side in these comparisons. Like it's such difference, right? And this is why this category is really needed. But let's look at Issa in the front pose in her current form right now, which is jacked, jacked. Like this is the bikini level right now. And you know, when we're talking about separation in the legs, I mean, look at all this separation, quads, hamstrings, the glutes are huge. She's got separation around the delts, those really capped delts, big lats, you know, that real kind of X. They keep saying it's not an X frame for bikini, it's hourglass, but it feels Xy to me, if I'm honest. And then she's got a really etched in sort of deep core here. So we want none of this for the fitness model division. None of it. Um, the back pose. Let's look at the back pose because I think there are some nuances here that need to be called out because they have said the back pose is the same as the bikini back pose. And I think it is, but it isn't. I think there are going to be some differences. So if we look at Ashley Kay's back pose for a start, 2015 Olympia, um, she has her legs quite wide back there. And we all did this back then. I look at all my early videos and pictures, and the same with all my friends who were competing around that time. We all went super wide with our legs. It's a bit cringy. Who knows why? I think just because we all did it, so we all did it. Um, but really, if you were, you know, forget her musculature and her condition in 2015, that's a wellness back pose, isn't it? She's, you know, legs wider. She's going for more of the A frame rather than the hourglass X frame that bikini is. So I would say nowadays, uh, you know, I would have her legs a little bit closer together in this back pose, um, just to bring that balance that they said, you know, top to bottom, they want balance. Um, Her toes are also pointing outwards. Um, in bikini, we do have sometimes a little bit of toe point out, sometimes forwards. It depends on your own individual muscularity. But I would say in Ashley's back pose there, she is actually a little bit sort of leg heavy, you know, little leg dominant compared to her upper body. So turning those toes out shows a bit more quad sweep. So I would say, again, if I was her posing coach, I would have her legs a little bit closer together, a little bit more turning forwards, and that would give her that kind of balance that they're saying that they're looking for. Now, let's look at the sort of upper body. She's got her arms fairly straight, hands resting on her thighs. Again, this is more what we kind of see in wellness right now because they're trying to, you know, make their upper bodies look a little bit smaller in their back pose and the A-frame legs look bigger. Let's compare her to Isa Pacini's back pose. Now this back pose, I just grabbed this off of my PC from another video that I did on the posing room. So I think this is 2023, the Clash, I think. And she is doing the current bikini back pose, which they are saying will be the back pose for this division. You can see a huge difference here. And I think the back pose will be kind of a morph between the two. Um, you know, I think we will have our legs a little bit closer together, like Issa's, toes, more sort of pointing forwards like Issa's. Try not to project too much quad. But equally, if you are, even though we don't have much muscle in this new division, I think if you are, have not a lot of muscle on your leg, then maybe we might turn those toes out a little bit just to project a little bit more quad sweep. Who knows? It's going to be individual. But I would say the stance would be a little bit narrower, like the bikini back pose of now. But let's look at the arch in Issa's back here. She's super, super arched. You can really, really see that she's like really tilting those glutes up, pushing them back. It's bringing, her in then at the waist and out at the bottom. Um, the girls doing this division are going to have a lot smaller glutes. You're still going to have glutes, I think. And I think probably a little bit more glute than Ashley Kay is showing in her 2015 picture, but they're not going to be as big as Issa Bikini's. And like, if you have that much arch when you have smaller glutes, I think that is just going to flatten your glutes. So I'm going to say we're probably going to be holding ourselves a little bit more sort of upright, like we see in Ashley Kay's 2015 back pose. Not so much arch in the back, I would say. Um, Also, that much arch as well can also bring out that sort of hamstring detail, and we don't want that hamstring detail in this division. So again, it's going to be like the bikini back pose, but I think a little bit more relaxed. You can see in Issa's back pose as well, she's got her hands quite high up, sort of, yeah, probably sort of hip bone, um, bend in the elbow, sort of pulling back, really kind of projecting that upper body, the roundness of the rear delts, like really trying to bring that out and again bring out that sort of hourglass X shape. Um, and I think that's going to be way too much for this division. I see like Ashley's picture, a little straighter with the arms, maybe not as straight as Ashley's, but definitely you can see Ashley's a lot more relaxed in her upper body. She's not trying to project any muscle, any shape there. Um, and again, this is model beach body. I just don't see it being as sort of rigid as the current bikini one. So yes, it is the same as the bikini back pose, but I think there are going to be like these nuances in it that just kind of make it a little softer, a little bit less too much, if that makes sense. What we are looking for with the posing, a balanced upper to lower body with a base of muscle. No body part should be overpowering another. Yep, check. There should be no separation showing in the shoulders, arms, or legs. Yep, so we've been through that with like Ice's picture. We don't want to see any of that. The core should be flat, but not too detailed or separated. So Issa's is definitely too detailed and separated. And I think possibly Ashley Kay's 2015 maybe a little bit too detailed and separated as well. Overall balance between the glutes and legs. So a bit like bikini, we don't want any one body part overpowering the other. Like I said in Ashley's back pose, I feel like when I look at that, her legs are kind of overpowering that. So we can change that with a bit of tweaking in her posing. But I would say if Ashley was doing that show now with that kind of physique, their goal would maybe be to bring up her glutes just a little bit more. We don't want this going into the same realm of bikini glutes, definitely. But I think she could have a little bit more balance with tiny bit more glutage. We'll see. Glutes should be firm when moving or walking, but there should not be any visible tie-in. So like I said, with Ashley, I feel like there is a little bit of visible tie-in. If we go back to Attila in her swimwear catwalk show, I think that's where we're going with it. That kind of condition in the glutes, that kind of look. No separation seen in the hamstrings. Um, Here's a picture of me this year in one of my check-ins. Um, that's what visible separation in hamstrings looks like. Uh, I really struggle with bikini. Like, I definitely have the size and the shape, but I'm just one of these people who just looks super conditioned, even when they're not actually super conditioned. I think I just have thinner skin. There must be something about my body fat as well. Like, I hold it in different places for a start. Unfortunate places. I don't hold a lot of body fat on my legs in off season. All my body fat goes to my stomach, and that's a hormone thing. Um, I've always been a bit that way. I've probably always been a little bit low estrogen, but being in my 40s, my estrogen is definitely getting lower right now, and that affects where you hold your body fat. You're going to be a lot leaner on the legs and the glutes, for example. Um, so yeah, here, like this definition you can see in the hamstrings. Oh my God, this is like an absolute no-no. Okay, let's look at suits because this is again where I see nuance. I see kind of trouble brewing as well. I think it's going to be a massive experiment next year on the suit front. Um, Competition suit criteria. Suit must be one plain color. Okay. No bling is allowed on the suit. No stones, crystal, sequins, or beads. Da, 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 da. Right, so this is a bikini competition suit. This is from Angel Competition Bikinis, who are my bikini maker, my suit sponsor. And this obviously you can see has crystals all over it. Not allowed, not allowed at all. When Tyler first announced it, he said no bling on the suits, no crystals, etc. And I was like, okay, so that is a posing suit, no crystals on it. Awesome, that makes things cheaper. I assumed we would be allowed like the connectors in the competition suit criteria that has come out since. It says point number 3, no connectors are allowed on the suit. Ooh, okay, so completely plain, literally no embellishments at all. Must have a moderate coverage on bikini bottom in the front and the back of the suit. Styles like pro cut, micro cut, Brazilian cuts, small cuts will be strictly prohibited. Okay, so let's have a quick look. This picture where I am in my check-in, that is a pro cut at the back. You can see how high that is. Almost looks like a thong. Um, when I started, uh, this was strictly prohibited for for bikini. We had to have a lot more coverage, um, which I did abide by those rules. But by the time I came into it, people were starting to break the rules and not be penalized against it. So for a little while, I had massive, massive pants on, and no one else did. So I quickly swapped over to the pro cut. Um, and I think we get away with it at the bikini level because we have such huge glutes. Um, Actually, like the smaller your glutes are, the more coverage you really want because it just doesn't look right with a pro cut anyway. And they're looking for a slightly smaller glute for this. So this is definitely probably too much practically, but also in the rules, it's definitely too much. Moderate coverage on the front and the back of the suit. Okay, so moderate cut. This is where it all gets very confusing. Here we have a picture again from Angel Competition Bikini competition suits website. Oh, that's a bit better. Okay, so this is uh off of the Angel Competition Bikini website. So they make competition suits. They are huge in America. one of the best suit makers in the world, been around for a long time. They know their stuff. This is where I think it starts to get a bit subjective, a bit sort of open to interpretation, and I'm not sure where they're going here, and there could be a lot of confusion. So they say moderate cut at the back. From a competition suit standpoint, a moderate cut, as you can see here, is actually quite big. That is the definition of moderate cut with competition suits. And I don't think they want a back cut that big personally. I think they are going more the sort of Brazilian cut route, which again, like most suits have these standards, and it's going to be, moderate cut. I think it's going to be too big. I think it's more the Brazilian cut, perhaps. Um, if you are going for a non-competition suit, is probably going to be your kind of like cheeky cut in a bikini. Not sure. Um, Again, this is why next year is going to be quite experimental, I think. It's going to take a while to understand what it is exactly they want from some of this. But I think moderate cut is definitely too big, personally. So this here is another picture from Angel Competition Bikinis. I got this off of their Instagram. This here on the left, I believe it's Savannah, who is one of the sisters who owns Angel Competition Bikinis. And I think she is wearing the Brazilian cut here, I think. Um, and you can see Ashley Kay's picture. I mean, Ashley Kay's bottom cut actually looks a little bit smaller than the Brazilian cut. So this is what I'm saying about like that moderate cut. If you're taking it at face value, what they say is moderate, I think it's going to be too big. So I think it's probably going to be more of a Brazilian cut. Okay, that's not the only sort of issue here that I am foreseeing. Because they have said in the rules, no scrunch back, no scrunch back on the bottom. Every bottom that you get from a suit maker, a competition suit maker, is scrunch back. You can see it here with the Brazilian cut. You can see it on the back of Ashley Kay's briefs, bottoms in her picture that they have said is the standard. So I'm a little bit confused about this. There is a reason why we have scrunch back, because it stops the bikinis from ruching up, from riding up, from, you know, exposing too much. It just sits a lot better. Um, so again, I think it's going to be trial and error, just like, you know, trying things like this out on stage and seeing what the judges say. Um, yeah, a little bit confused. Um, let's look at front rise again from Angel Competition Bikini's website. You have on the left here standard rise, which is generally what most competitors are wearing in bikini and the other divisions right now. Then there's the petite rise, which is a little less material, sort of a little bit lower. And then there's modest rise, which I would say less bikini athletes wear because it's a bit more coverage. I personally wear the modest rise, um, and I love it. I have a few scars on my lower abs from quite an aggressive operation I had years ago. You can't even see the scars, especially not with tan and all that kind of stuff. But where my stomach was like cut open in 4 places, I just feel like the quality of my skin on my lower abs is not great. And I just feel really paranoid about it. I feel like it's a little bit crepey down there. Yeah, I've been going with a modest rise, and I don't think you can really tell much difference. I mean, if you probably really, really looked at it, you probably go, oh, hers are a little bit higher. But I don't think unless you're looking for it, people would notice. I feel very comfortable in that modest rise at the front. It, like I said, just I feel a bit more secure and held in. So that is my favorite. So I don't have a problem with a modest rise at the front, and this is what a modest rise would look like. And then when we're looking at actual bikinis, like I said, no stones, no bling at all. It's going to be one color. Um, Again, if you are going with a competition suit, this is great news, I think, because not only has bikini got huge, muscular conditioned, it's got really inexpensive, really expensive. And a competition suit is gonna, with all of the bling and stones, this is gonna set you back, in the UK anywhere from like 450 to £600 for a brand new custom made suit. US in dollars, I have no idea what that would be, but that would be more. So I don't know, maybe $800, something like that. That's a lot of money for anyone. So this way, we're keeping it really, really cheap. And especially if you're new to the sport and you're not even sure if you're going to like the sport, you know, you're not you don't have that massive outlay for that first bikini. Um, a one color in a kind of holographic, that kind of shiny material, or just plain matte is, Angel Competition bikinis, £103. It's not a lot, is it? My personal favorite, if I was doing this, I would be going for velvet though. I freaking love the velvet. That's a little bit more expensive, about 120 quid. But I think that's like really got that luxury feel. Then, as we said, no sparkly connectors, no connectors. Um, they also don't want to see tie sides. I'll go back to the criteria in a second. Um, but yeah, if you're going for a suit from a competition maker, that is what I would see it looking for. You can get all your padding in it for you, so you feel nice and secure. Quite a high rise at the front, and then these like adjustable straps, and that's great as well because you know you can wear these, you know, multiple years. If you're growing a little bit, you can adjust it. I think it's great that we don't have to spend so much in this division. I'm all for it. So going back to the rules, no tie sides on the bikinis. Yep, competitors will compete in a two-piece suit. The bottom front of the suit should not be a sharp V in shape and should be slightly rounded. So that sort of modest cut is great. No thongs are permitted. Obs. Competitors can compete in off the rack suit. So off the rack means you can compete in a suit that is not made to measure, not from a competition suit maker. This is interesting, as long as it, you know, meets all the criteria above. All swimsuits must be in good taste. Athletes will be warned about improper suits and are advised to bring two suits to check in. If the fronts of the suit's bottoms are too low and the judges deem them so a check-ins, then the suit must be constructed higher. Otherwise, the athletes will be scored down if the suit is not up to standards. If the judges deem your suit not to conform to the rules and inappropriate, you will be directed to leave the stage and disqualified in capital letters, no exceptions. All right, so this bit here, outside of the off the rack suit, I think I think when I started in bikini, you were allowed to compete in an off the rack suit in the rules as well. No one was. We were all wearing the sparkly custom made suits, but I'm pretty sure this was in the rules. And we also had in the rules that, you should bring two suits and it would be checked in check-ins. Yeah, like 7, 8 years later, I've never had my suit checked. But this is a new division, and they may really, really push this at check-in next year just to make sure that the standard is there. Competitors must wear high heels. Um, right, high heels, high heels. Um, there's going to be a lot of girls coming into this and ladies coming into this who have never competed before. And I, as a posing coach, get so many women coming and saying, "Oh, I'm not very good at walking in heels." I might get like the small heels, because it'll make it easier to walk in. Don't. No kitten heels, no 4-inch heels. Go for the big heels, not the like big stripper heels. Yeah, go for the high heels, those shoe fairy. Luna, enough. Those shoe fairy compact high heels, they look best on everyone. No one looks good on stage in a bikini, in a kitten heel, in a short heel. I don't care if you're 6'7", get the high heels. Learn how to walk in them. Competitors may wear jewelry. Um, I wonder what kind of jewelry we'll be going for. In bold, note the NPC Worldwide, and IFBB Professional League have not authorized or granted the license, authority, or exclusivity to any competition suit company or designer to be their official suit maker and to advertise their suits as an official cut or approved cut. This has never been an official or approved pro cut bikini for any division. That term was erroneously created by suit makers. I find that interesting that there. Um, and there have been a lot of suit makers coming out going, I've got the perfect suit for this division. And maybe they have, I don't know. But like I said, none of us know what's going to happen and what direction this is going to go in. We still don't really know um Tyler Mannion's vision for this. Um, it's going to be interesting. But I feel like with this statement, they are maybe Luna, enough. They are maybe trying to push more of the beachy look. Who knows? All exciting stuff. Have I finally got to the end of this? Because I feel like this was the longest video I've ever made. Oh no, presentation. Bikini competition judging. Presentation. Competitors will walk on stage alone and perform their front and back poses. The whole presentation will consist of the following. Walk to the center of the stage. So here's the front of the stage. No, that's not going to work. So basically, you're going to come in from one side. You're going to walk to the front of the stage. Stop. Do your front pose, your back pose, and walk off. There is no I walk. We're not walking to the back of the stage doing a pose and going to the front, which is how we used to do it in the OG bikini. And then they took that out and you come to the front of the stage. We're doing the same. Walk to the center of the stage, stop, do a front stance, then do a full turn and do a back stance. Then turn to the front again, face the judges as directed, and then proceed to the side of the stage. Do not stop to hit a transition pose. Again, I'm really glad I took the time to read this all fully because this interests me as well. Obviously, you have to do something pretty to transition to the mat pose, but they don't want you sort of stopping in that model pose or the photography pose that we call it. And I guess A, that is to stop it becoming just another bikini routine. And B, probably because they realize that this is going to be very popular and they want to keep timing short, show days are already packed out with the number of divisions we have. This is going to be an extra one to cram in there. I think it's going to be very, very popular. So they have given you 10 seconds and no time. No time. Do not stop to hit a transition pose. That will not be judged. No lewd acts are permitted. I've never understood what these lewd acts are, i.e. touching of the body with your hands, for example, amongst other poses. What are they? Length of time allowed is 10 seconds. So 10 seconds. That's pretty short. However, if we're not stopping in transition poses, you're going to get a good sort of 3 seconds in your front pose, 3 seconds in your back pose. If you've never competed before, you probably think that's really short. That feels like a long time to me. If you exceed the allotted time, you will be told time and have to stop your routine at that time and exit the stage. We do not want to see a T-walk presentation. No T-walk for this. Once your name is called, walk directly to the outline box. So they tape a little box in the middle of the front of the stage, and you will be required to stay in that box. Two, comparison round, two-piece swimsuit. See, they're going with swimsuit. Competitors will be judged wearing a two-piece swimsuit and heels. The competitors will be brought back out in a group and directed to do a full front and back stance. The judges will have opportunity to compare the competitors against each other in the front and the back pose. Competitors may be asked as a group to do a model walk to the line at the back of the stage during the overall comparisons. Then stop, then directed to face the front and walk back to the front comparison line. This will be at the discretion of the judging panel and may not occur at every contest. So this is a lot like bikini in as much as, again, when I started, all your comparisons, like back in 2017, in your comparisons, you would do the walk to the back of the stage. So they would be like, ladies face the front, ladies face the back, ladies face the front, ladies face the back, walk to the back of the stage, come back to the front of the stage. And then I think because it got so busy, so big, and they were trying to like cut down on time, um, they stopped doing the walk to the back of the stage during comparisons only if you won your category, and then all the winners of the height classes would go into an overall, and then they would do the walk to the front, walk to the back of the stage. So they're saying you may be asked to do that in the overall, but you might not as well. I think they are expecting this to be a very, very busy division, as do I. Scoring. Judges will be scoring competitors using the following criteria: balance, shape, conditioning, muscularity, and overall presentation. Overall physical appearance, including complexion, skin tone, and poise. So, as I said earlier on in this, this is going to be competitive at every level, but this is a fitness model division. You know, you are going to be expected to have that healthy, glossy glow to your skin, to your hair. You know, skin tone is going to be that of what you see on a magazine cover. No cellulite, you know, it's got to be polished, girls. So this will be very competitive, very tough. Um, it's the same as bikini right now, but I just want to really drive this home because I don't think people sometimes realize that you are judged on that, especially when you first come into the sport. You're just like, oh, I've got a bit of muscle. It's brutal. Crossovers. In NPC competitions, you cannot cross over from bikini or any other women's division to fit model division in the same contest. So if you rock up on the 1st of May, for example, I don't even know what day that is, rock up to that show and you're like, oh, I've never done a competition before. I don't know if I am really fit model or if I'm bikini. I'm going to enter both. You can't do that. You can only enter fit model. There are various different classes of fit model that you can enter in that show, depending on how many shows you've done. There's true novice, novice, open, masters, I'm assuming masters, etc., juniors. So you could do like 5 different different classes in that show, but only within the fit model division. If you do that show and do fit model, and then all the feedback is, oh, you're a bit too big, too muscular, then another show you can come back and you can do bikini, but you can't cross over in that show. And that is probably to stop people winning, say, 2 categories, which would cause an outrage because we're trying to create this like distinct difference between the categories. Have we finished? Yes, we have. Whew, that was a lot. That really was a lot. So, in summary, I am ridiculously excited about this, like crazy excited. But like I said, it's going to come with challenges, not least it's going to be tough for the girls, tougher than I think people realize, food-wise. Um, People are already, fortunately, it's just a small amount of people, but already giving a little bit of shtick to the division. Um, and that comes with its own kind of like mental challenges. If you're on Instagram, as I said, I remember from my early days in bikini, not everyone was supportive of it. But that changed. And now, for the most part, bikini is very, very, very well respected. And I expect once this finds its feet, it will have the same. It's going to be challenging for the first year because we don't know what it is that the judges want. Body wise, condition wise, posing wise, suit wise. There's a lot of unknowns. Just letting my dog out again. Yeah, a lot to try and unpack there and understand. But I think it's going to be very, very rewarding. Like I said, I think, you know, being a pioneer of it this year is going to be incredibly rewarding. I think um, there's going to be a lot of money in this division and a lot of reward sponsorship wise, a lot of opportunity. And just historically, like I said, you will be an OG. You'll be an OG. That's amazing. This category, I want to say as well, is not for everyone. And I'm not even talking about muscularity here. Some people are just not going to fit it as well. I think there is just a small portion of the population who actually can't do this sport. Um, I sometimes wonder if I'm one of them. I'm obviously too muscular for this division now, but even if I wasn't this muscular, um, as I've said, I am just a really sort of conditioned person. I show a lot of detail, even when I'm holding a lot of body fat. Um, I'm going to put a picture up now of me in at the beginning of my prep, so coming out of my off season. You can see I've still got detail in my hamstrings a little bit. I've still got a ham tie-in sort of coming out. Um, some of that is due to the amount of muscle that I've got, but some of it's not. I was like this even when I was tiny. So I think someone like me will struggle. Um, and for that reason, I'm not sure how this will work for masters athletes. Now, again, we all have different physiology, and not every masters athlete is going to be, show as much detail as, say, me for a masters athlete, masters athlete. But I do prep a lot of masters, and in my experience, they're mostly the same as me. They mostly show a lot of striations, even at high body fat, a lot of detail. Um, so I don't, yeah, I there will be a masters division. Um, will they allow it a slightly more conditioned or different look? I don't know. Lots of unknowns. But I think a lot of masters will struggle to achieve this look. I think it's going to be perfect for girls in their mid-20s, just because again, you know, their hormones are in a different place. When you're higher in estrogen, you hold more body fat on your legs and your glutes, which is perfect for this, and less body fat around your waist. So I have really lean legs at my age. I hold all my body fat around my waist. And it's the opposite in your 20s. So that's going to be the perfect time, that sort of 20s through to, early 30s, I think. But, some people will struggle with that as well. I know a lot of younger athletes who do have that lovely body fat on their legs and their glutes. It's really beautiful body fat at that age. Do you know? It's like really attractive body fat. They have the nice lean stomach, but their shoulders get really, really, really shredded really easily. And again, like it's got to be, you know, not conditioned everywhere, not just in parts. And that's another reason why this is going to be a difficult category, like trying to get that condition all over. It's going to be tough for some of these uh these coaches. Um, I myself as well as showing a lot of detail, I'm a very vascular athlete. You can't be vascular for this at all. You're not supposed to be for bikini, but they will really crack down on this. So again, older athletes, we do tend to be a little bit more vascular, and I'm sure there are some younger athletes who suffer with that as well. Um, yeah, it's an interesting time, and I am really, really all for it. I've been asked if I am offering posing lessons for it. Of course, I am. Get in touch. I am also taking on a small cohort of prep clients for it because I think this is going to be just so much fun and really exciting. Um, and yeah, I just want to relive my little OG bikini days. Um, if you are looking for a posing suit, because that's all you need, you don't need a full-on crystallized suit. Go check out Angel Competition Bikinis, have a look on their site. Like I said, it's so much more um, achievable finance-wise to do this division. Go and have a look. I have a code Leo, which will give you 15% off. They're always doing sales as well. So my God, you could be able to get a posing suit very, very, very cheaply. This is really exciting, but just really, really keep an open mind about it because, like I said, it I have a feeling this could be a really glamorous. I think it's gonna be the most popular division personally. But like I said, I think it could go down that sort of like poolside um bikini glamour. There is a possibility. We'll see. Right. Thank you for watching. Give me a shout if you have any questions. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.